Hey, what's up guys? Eric Thane here from Cinema Mastery and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and what I wanted to share with you is an interview with one of my Cinema Mastery and crew members, Jake, whose video last week I actually posted on the channel. He did a commercial, a passion project for Spotify, and that got quite a big response, and I had a lot of people asking questions about how he did it and all that kind of stuff. And so Jake is an incredible visionary director, just absolutely amazing, and he shot that incredible commercial for Spotify as well. Jake has gone from, struggling as a filmmaker to getting to the point where he has, in just a couple months of working together, he actually quadrupled his rates to tens of thousands of dollars, and now is even charging even more than that on projects with his clients. So Jake is a really amazing example of how to create really cinematic work, but then also how to grow your business and charge high rates and just get it done. So I've got this awesome interview that I did a little while back with Jake. I'm just gonna play it right now. And then if you guys enjoy this interview and you wanna learn more about how to grow your business and scale your production company and start getting high paying clients as a filmmaker, I'll put a link down below for a free training that you can go and check out. Highly recommend it. We go really in depth on how exactly Jake did exactly what he's gonna show you that he did today. And then you can check out that training and we can talk later about that. So enjoy the interview. Hope you love it. Let's jump into it. So Jake, why don't you quickly just give us like a brief 1 minute version of what you do in your business and everything.
We basically take businesses who are struggling with brand loyalty and to kind of effectively communicate with their customers, and we make that emotional connection with their customers through our cinematic storytelling, and then in turn get them a return on investment. So that's what we focus on, is that, kind of like what y'all are used to, cinematic storytelling to actually give them results.
Okay, cool. So I want to start out, Jake, by just going back to before you got into Six Figure Filmmaker. And let's talk a little bit about where your business was at, and tell us how were things going then? How did you work with clients before you started going through this process?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you said a few times that's this hope and pray, marketing method where, you kind of put yourself out there, you make as best quality film as you can, and then you just hope when you put it out there, people are going to really like it, and then that's going to make them want to work for you or with you and everything. And I think, for a long time, that was my mentality. It's just well, if I have the best product, right, then that's what's going to draw people to me, and then that's going to grow my business, because that's how I'll eliminate my competition, is I'll just be the best. Well, aside from being arrogant, I realized that that's not actually what is getting people business, and that's not what my competition or the best of the best who are out there right now. It's really not even necessarily about their product. It's more about their message and what they can actually do. And I always struggled with the slimy salesman thing. So every time I'd go into a meeting, I'd kind of undercut myself and be like, well, this may seem like a high price, so let's go a little bit lower, and what can we do for you? And just bending over backwards for them, because I just didn't, I never wanted to come across as this slimy salesman. And so a lot of times I'd find myself just saying, hey, we can do anything. We can do everything, whatever you want, and really just trying to cater to them as much as possible. And so, which just puts you in a lot of sticky situations, right? I mean, you end up not being able to specialize, and you really do it a super big injustice to your clients, because they're not getting the best out of you. Because how can you be the best event guy and the best documentary maker and the best emotional filmmaker and whatever you want to put in, wedding filmmaker, all that stuff? You really can't. And as I've gone through this process too, I realized that my clients, or the people who are approaching me, or other people who are doing video, they're really looking for answers. Even though they tell you oh, I want this kind of video, I want it to be a minute long, and I want it to be on Instagram and Facebook, and I want to do all these things. It's a lot of times they say that, but they really don't know what they're trying to do with that video. And they'll tell us as like video makers, like as production companies, like, oh, this is what I want. But, you know, a lot of times it's not what's actually going to get them the result that they're really looking for. So sorry if I'm winding through that, but yeah, my client work before, you know, really jumping into six-figure filmmaker looked very much like, how do I appease my clients? How do I make money, but also not come off as a slimy salesman? And how do I get leads without, you know, just kind of like feel like selling my soul all the time.
Yeah, and was your pricing taking a hit? Like, what were you charging back then?
So my best thing was I charged $3,500 for a video, and that was in a package, you know. So I did like, I don't know, like 6 videos, and they were, you know, and I did them, you know, at 35 basically a piece, and there were these huge, you know, huge videos. It took just a crazy amount of effort. I made no money off of it. You know, I poured it all back into the video itself, and so just really got screwed up. But yeah, that was probably the highest I ever charged, was 35.
And that's the problem with a lot of like filmmakers starting out is like, you know, for some people they might think like $3,500 is a lot, but when it's a big project like that, like the types of videos that you're doing, like it's not even close to enough. But but the problem is that a lot of us filmmakers, when we start out, we think that like, I just have to make work that looks better and then I'll make more money. But what you realized through this process was that it wasn't about the quality of your work, even though that's important, of course. Is really like how much money you make is really more related to how good your sales message is more than anything. Like I think that like as filmmakers, like we look for like the secret, like the answer, right? Like the biggest thing. We expect it to be like, I bought this camera, you know, and like everything got better, or I got this big gig, or like some influencer with 1 million followers, like, you know, shouted me out, and then I got a huge following, and like that's the kind of stuff that we expect. But like we forget like how important that mindset is. And you had like from the time you signed up for this program to like, I was like what, a month or two later, you landed a $12,000 client, which before like your previous biggest client was like $3,000. Like that's like a 4x increase within just a couple months. What caused that?
Yeah, great question. So like I, you know, I started seeing the power of like, yeah, just being able to have something valuable to bring my clients, right? Instead of coming in there and being timid and not being sure of myself or really what I'm offering, knowing that like, hey, what I'm going to give you will give you results. Like the things, the goals that you told me that you want to achieve, I know that this is going to get that. But in order to do that, this is what we have to do. Like we can't do a talking head video. We can't do a this video or a that video because those are the things that are not working. And like I knew what would work. And then I'd worked with this client for a couple of years and they've been doing the smaller videos and all that stuff. But now I go in, I show them a video that like I'm talking about, and I just walk them through the process. I'm like, guys, this is why this is important. And this is why it's actually going to help you more than anything we've ever done in the past. And like, you know, I had one portfolio item that was kind of close to like what I wanted to do, but still not really there. So I just showed them stuff that I had been researching on Vimeo that I liked, and then they started to buy into it. Like, oh yeah, this could work. Like, and it you know, and that just changed the conversation. I moved from being this, you know, contractor to, you know, hey, tell me what you want to do and I'll do it. Yeah, you know, you want this, you want that, great, I'll take care of it. To like, hey, let me actually tell you what you need to do and let me build that trust. And if you, I mean, and they said like, hey, we're trusting you with this. We don't know if it's going to work. We think it will, but it was almost like they were pleading with me, like, please, Jake, let this work. And it's kicking butt. Like it's doing great. And that's beyond anything they ever wanted. And because I knew that like that's what would happen, right? Because like that's the process, like with their goals and all this. And so being a consultant, I like can come into a conversation now with any client and have confidence knowing that like I can get you results. I know what I'm doing. Like I'm here to help you and not just take your money and hopefully like you feel good about it. Like, no, you're paying for results. I can get you those results. I feel totally confident in that circle.
So you're becoming a consultant. You're talking about the results more so than like the quality of the video, which is what I think a lot of filmmakers do, is just talk about, the resolution and the pixels and the cameras and the lights and everything, which to the clients doesn't really make sense. Like, they don't speak in those terms. All right. It's not that they don't care about it. Like, they want a quality video, but like they're hiring you because they know you can make a quality video. And so you don't need to prove that to them. What they need to be proven on is that you understand them and their goals and what they need to happen. And this is something that I know you've been working on a lot recently, is just figuring out, how to communicate with the clients and having that, because like a lot of us filmmakers think that it's about the video, but then again, it's not really about the video, is it?
No, it's really not. It's about trust. I think more so about that, like building that trust with your client, and really about like showing them the value, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, if they believe that what you're telling them is valuable, then like price isn't really an issue at that point, because they'll either wait till they have the money to do it, or they don't have the money and they won't do it. But they know that like what you're doing is going to be worth it. And like it just doesn't give them like any other option, really. So yeah, the product, I mean, golly, Eric, you've given a ton of examples of crappy products out there that people are charging just crazy amounts of money for. But it's not just in video, it's like in anything. And it's, if people can just, again, like if your clients can just see like, hey, here's my problem. Can you fix it? Like, oh, this is your problem? Yeah, I can fix it by doing this. I mean, it's like almost that simple. But anyway.
So I know people like who are listening to this want to hear like the nitty gritty, like the practical. What can I do? Like, how do I do this? How do I replicate the success that you've had, Jake? So walk us through like what one of those conversations with your clients looks like now, because you've gone through and you've learned all this. You've gone through the value pitch. You've gone through the sales messaging portion of the course and learn like how to create a sales message, how to communicate with your clients. I mean, would you say you're communicating with them in a very different way now than you were before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk through it with us. Like, what do those conversations look like when you get a new client and you're talking to them and you're in a meeting with them? What are you saying? What are you doing to get them to get you to want to pay you high prices?
Totally. That's great. So I'd say first thing before you even like approach some of these conversations is like, if you can take the time and call old clients you want to have, like just people, and like, hey, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. I just want to chat with you. I'm like working on my business. I just want to understand your company a little bit better. And then and Eric has this whole thing on Six Figure Filmmaker, all these questions you can ask, and you can really find out their pain points. And it just gives you a list of things to be able to understand about these people that you're going to talk to. So that would be my first thing, is just that'll give you a lot of confidence when you go and you talk to these people. The next piece is, when like a client or somebody calls me for the first time, and they want to sit down in a meeting, inevitably they kind of know what they want to do. They think they do, at least right now in my career. And they'll say, hey, we're looking to do a promo for our business, corporate promo, about a minute long. We want some B-roll of these people working in this facility, and an interview with our CEO saying this kind of stuff. Can you do that? And I'll say, hey, that's great. Can you tell me a little bit more about where this video is going to go, or what you're trying to do with this video? And then I start asking them questions about their goals. And so if their goals aren't in line with what their product is and what they really want, they're asking for, then I just tell them. I walk them through a little bit of a process where it's like, hey, that's great that you want this, but like, if these are your goals, if you want to make, if you're trying to make money, which I know that's usually the goal, right? But like, in order to make money, you're trying to actually connect with your customers. So if you want to connect with your customers, really the only way to do that is through an emotional connection, because what we all know that like buying relationships and buying decisions are made on an emotional level, and they're actually not made on this conscious level based off information. So if we go that informational route, you're really going to miss your opportunity to create a buying relationship with these customers. And so if you're actually looking for return and not just to give them information to help customers that you already have understand your product, then this isn't the route to go. Like, this is the route to go. And then it just starts opening their mind, right? And you're taking them from like their false belief, right, of where they started, of thinking that all video is the same. All it is, like, I need to do this because it's just some marketing task that somebody told me I need to do, and it's powerful. And I'm going to do this, to, oh crap, not all video is created equal. And then you, as the person who's asking these questions, you become this whole other entity that isn't a videographer, right? It's just this person who does this. They grow my business with video. Like, you're in a whole nother league. And just like a quick story, I had a call like 2 weeks ago from a group here in my city, and they've been approached by a local university, and they were asked to create these like virtual tours, for the campus, because they weren't allowed to get out, like obviously bring kids in and recruit them and do their whole, shebang. And so they reached out to this company that does tours in my city, and they're like, oh, you're a great storyteller, blah, blah, blah. So that tour company reached out to me to consult on like what video would look like for them. And so I started walking through the process. I just talked to you. Well, what do you think their goals are? Well, why do you think that is? Okay, well, like, if they want this is the way to go. Cinematic storytelling, emotional connection. That's the only way. And this company that I was talking to, the tour company, was like, oh, you're absolutely right. That's what they want. That's what they need. This is what we have to do. How much is that? These videos, I mean, they start from $10,000 to $15,000, and that's for a day. Like, I think we could probably hit these things in a day, but, to be safe, like, that's our range. Okay, great. That's our range. Cool. Moving on. And then, they started asking me, like, oh, hey, well, what if we push this to the university, and they are like, we have an in-house video team. How would you approach that? And then I was like, well, hey, I totally understand. There's a lot of video people out there, right? And then I walked them through a different case study of a client of mine who used our product and was able to just get all this different use out of it. And the way we planned it and all these different things, I just told a story. And they were like, oh, crap. Like, there's no way. Like, you're completely different than any other video person. No one else could pull this off. Like, it just became that person in their mind. And I have a competitor in town who's fantastic, like a fantastic filmmaker, fantastic storyteller. I'd say better than me, like, for real. And they've used this tour company used him in the past to like make videos for them, and they're pretty videos, like, they're cool. But after this conversation, the owner of the company was like, hey, we've used this guy in the past, and, we love him and everything, but like, you do something so different. And we're going to talk to our marketing company after this and, see what we can do in the future, because this is where we want to go. This is where our brand wants to go. This is what we're about. Like, can you come back and talk to our marketing team? Can you do this? Like, it's not that he had like a lesser product than me, right? And he has a friendship with them. So he has relationship there. And I know him for sure, but like, I don't know him like this guy knows him. And like, it didn't matter at that point, right? So that's the power of
amazing.
What we're doing here.
So amazing.